Welcome back to the Daily Dogfights podcast. I'm Brody Self. My friend Fletch, he's down in San Antonio today. And we got Tyson Lamb here with Lamb Crafted.
Am I supposed to say something now?
Yeah, you're supposed to say, "Hey, I'm Tyson." He's taking off his bar bracelet.
I just went to a trade show to take off my bracelet.
That was from Showdowns last night.
Tyson
Over
Lamb,
21.
under 21 bracelet.
Oh, but anyways.
Tyson, it's great to have you on here. I'm coming from San Antonio, down here at the Crooked Horn Ranch. Some great friends, Mark and Andy Weekly. They have, I think he probably does have a Tyson Lamb putter. His brother-in-law is a putter collector. And I, being a bad putter, am super excited about today's show because, Tyson, I want this hour, when I get done here, I want to be a better putter when I get done here with this hour. So can you make that happen?
We're probably in the wrong place.
Yeah.
If that's going to happen for an hour. Maybe I can
I
shed
think
some.
This isn't an
mental.
OnlyFans connection here, Fletch. This is a podcast.
Okay.
I'm sure I could shed some light on why you putt bad, whether or not it makes you putt better. That's on you. But
Thank you.
if you're going to have a golf app, you probably don't need to suck at golf. So
He's not. I told him he needs to get better at golf if we're going to launch this golf app and play golf on TV.
The good thing about a golf app is there has to be winners and losers. You know what I mean? So everybody's got to play their part. You know, there's 5 people and everybody doesn't get a trophy in Daily Dogfights. So you gotta. There's only going to be one or 2 or 3 winners, and there's going to be a couple losers. And somebody's got to play that role. So
it makes sense.
I'm happy to do it if I have to.
I've played enough with Brody to know that he is scrappy good. But I haven't played with you, so golf-wise, I don't have a clue. But you can fill me in, and I'll give you some pointers potentially.
You're not missing much. Usually just right down the middle. When I get my approach wedge out, I shovel it, and then I chip it up there pretty tight for par, and then I usually miss that putt. And so that's how my round goes.
Round 87.
It sounds like Brody,
87.
except for he usually makes it.
He makes them every time. He should be the Tyson Lamb spokesperson because he is a putting son of a gun for sure. He gets that putter really hot.
I've played enough with Brody to know that he knows what he can do, and whether it's he's got a 50-yard slice that goes 270 that day, that's what he's going to play, or if he's literally hooking everything, he's going to find a way to get it in the hole. And what's funny is all you need is money, gambling, maybe a few drinks, and people talking shit in order for Brody to excel. And honestly, that puts Brody in a different mindset. I don't know. It's not like the Rain Man phenomenon, but there's just something he has going on in his brain, and he just can flip a switch and turn it on.
I think it is like that. Yeah, he is super scrappy, and he's got that dog in him for sure on the golf course. And he dances with the girl that brought him 100%. If he's hitting it left, he hits it left, and he just aims right. If he's hitting it right, he aims left, and then he makes it work out. Putt's really fucking good. Excuse my language.
Bad words. All right.
It's, I don't know. I just play my game and find a way to get in the hole, like they said.
And he finds a way to get on every golf course. He was at Panther National yesterday.
Hey, I'm in Texas. So
How did you do that? Fill everybody in.
So actually, I went down there to play with a game called the Scotch Game. It's a big game they play down at Bears Lakes, and
shout out to Bears Lake Country Club.
Shout out Bears Lakes Country Club, very good spot. And after we got done, I was eating lunch, and Grant Horvat was supposed to play with my buddy at Bears Lakes, and I was gonna hang out with them and but I already kind of have a connection to Grant through Mason. And it sounded like my buddy had a big group of people that was coming out too. So I was like, I didn't want to impose. And one of the guys that kind of took an interest in the app was like, come on, let's go. We're re-rack them. I already had a flight. I was supposed to get back. Actually, my flight ended up getting canceled because of the wind. So I'm playing with this guy on the 3rd hole. We win the first 2 holes, and he's like, what are you doing tomorrow? Got a 6-man Nassau game over there, Panther Island or Panther National.
Island.
Panther National, if you want to go. I was like, Yeah, I think I can make that. He's like, yeah, he's like, don't top it in your phone like this. You got to go to Avalon Pavilion, and at the gate, you tell them such and such name, and they'll let you in. And I was like, he's like, be there at 8:30.
He's like Grant Horvath here to play DBA Brody Self.
Oh, I was devastated when Brody told me that, because like I've been wanting that course. Just I don't know. I just like
I didn't really know much about the course, but it was.
It looked like everything was floating and just wrapped in sand.
Yeah, it's just like it's big hills. It's just like I don't know. It's a weird outlook of like where you're at. Like it doesn't. I don't really know how to describe it because you're in Florida. I don't really get Florida that well. Yeah, Florida's weird to me.
But you know, first class though, 100%.
What was the clubhouse? Did they have one yet?
Kind of a small one. No, I don't think, definitely not the main clubhouse, but it was nice. It was, I mean, it was brand new, so I mean, it was legit.
Florida golf has always been kind of weird. I haven't played too many great ones, and then in the past couple years, it seems like there's been a lot more. Obviously, you got the Seminole and Bears Club and Grove and a lot of those places. Pelican Club is a new place that's supposed to be really good. And then we went to Cabot. We had an event at Cabot Citrus Farms in November, and it kind of changed my perception. The thing is we live in Texas. Obviously, it's hot as hell here. And then you're like, well, why do I ever want to go to Florida? But when you're depressed in January or February, it's a hell of a lot better because you're not going to Scottsdale right now anyway because it's $1 billion. So Florida's always good. But you have to know somebody. Yeah. I feel like everybody's always getting on their plane and going to Florida. And I'm like, well, I'll meet you out there on my American Airlines flight, and maybe we can play some golf. But I don't know who you know out there, but I need to know them because you get on all these crazy places, and that place looked like it was good.
Yeah, and Bears Lakes is, I mean, actually it said they were the biggest country club in America with single-digit handicap golfers. Like, they have a lot of people that mix it up, and it was really cool. And they have the number one TrackMan facility as well in the nation too. It was that
Brody couldn't get to work, but whatever.
Yeah, I could not. I've been there 3 times now, and I kept not been able to use it. And I just got new clubs, and I was like, all right, Mikey, watch out! I need to hit this club.
Brody's ball speed is too high for a TrackMan.
Definitely not. It's too slow, if anything.
So speaking of good tracks. I haven't been on one, but I hear about this thing called Lamb Jam or Lamb. It just sounds so awesome. What is this, Tyson? What's going on? What do you have that's so special that when I hear about it, it makes me feel like it's a cool kids group that I haven't been invited to? And I want to know what do you guys do on this trip?
Do you have a list of questions? Is that what you're looking down at? Is it?
He does. He should. I wish he was in studio.
No.
Because you should have saw him with Dragon the other day. He had this like list of, and I was just like,
well, so Lamb Jam originally was kind of just my way of inviting people who are customers and friends to Dallas, and this was so we started in a garage in 2012, and I think the first one was 2000. We're going on, this will be Lamb Jam 9 this year, so what would it be, 2016?
7, 8, 9,
yep. We had a weird number with COVID, but 15 or 16 was the first one. I had to go back and look. And so basically all the people that were supporters, customers, I wanted to invite them to the shop. And so in the early days, we started in Mom's garage, and then we moved into a smaller space. It was like 1,200 square feet.
Yeah, I guess just go ahead and tell the story. Just start your story, how you got going.
We got like 40 minutes. We don't have enough time.
But you can tell like how you got into even making golf products.
College. Went to college in Fort Worth. Went to school in Scottsdale first, then moved to Fort Worth.
Actually, we have all the time we want.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Went to Texas Wesleyan.
You played college golf, then?
I did.
With Dragon, too, right?
Yeah.
Young Dragon on the same team?
Me and Dragon and a couple guys. But so ended up at Texas Wesleyan after junior college, lived over off Hewlin right by TCU. We got to play Ridgely, Shady, Mira, all the courses, which that's why you want to go there. Buddy of mine at the time, his grandparents had a machine shop, and so the belt buckle phenomenon. Oh, sorry. I keep looking at you. Yeah. The belt buckle phenomenon phase was like huge. Like the white belts, there was 59 and AK and all these guys. So we wanted to make belt buckles. So I designed them. I taught myself CAD and SolidWorks, and in college, basically started sending some stuff to this shop that my buddy's grandparents owned. And then it kind of turned into stamping, other stuff like customizing putters. And there was a point, and I'm telling the short version, but at one point we were at Miramont in College Station, stamping people's clubs for $25, whatever you wanted, for fun. And like this was before custom shops existed and all of that. So like I remember buying putters at the golf store and stamping them and paint filling them and customizing them and selling them on eBay for like $1,500 just because that's what they would bring. So started doing that, built a small brand. We had a brand called Identity Belts and Buckles. That was our first company. The guy who I started it with, him and I split up. He was spending money on things for his girl.
Identifying the same things.
Yeah, he was going to Nordstrom and buying suits and spending money on his girlfriend and buying laptops and anyway. So tried to buy him out, didn't work. It was kind of funny how it works. So tried to do it on my own for a little bit, sending it to other shops. Those things didn't work. Got a loan for $100,000, bought a machine, turned my parents' garage into a machine shop, and started making aerospace parts, car parts. We did work for Gas Monkey. We did work for guys who wanted architecture stuff. Like anything you could possibly think of, we were doing. It was just like I just wanted to make things. And I even in high school, going way back, I'd always like stamped my own wedges, done my own customization, always been a big putter guy because basically growing up, I was a Hank Haney student. I was always at Hank's place every day. Peter Murphy was my teacher. Almost everybody who went to Allen, all the girls, like our girls were so good. They won districts one year by 90 shots. They won state by like 60 shots. They like Hank Haney used to have the coolest place ever in McKinney, right off Custer Road. It was Hank Haney's Golf Ranch. And I mean, at one point, probably the coolest story ever. At one point, when Tiger was secretly working with Hank, and don't quote me, anybody who's watching this, on exactly how this happened, but high school me, this is how I saw it happening. Tiger was working with Hank, and nobody knew that he was working with Hank. And then Tiger won the Masters, and Hank had a new Mercedes. And so then it became more official. And then I'll never forget this. Nike came out with the Sasquatch. Everybody remembers the Sasquatch, right? Like the most epic sounding driver ever.
The yellow one?
Oh, yeah.
That's what it was called.
Yeah. Remember that one? And so he was testing the Sasquatch at Haney's place. And the back net was like $295. And every other word out of Tiger's mouth was, F this, F that. I mean, he was just entertaining to be around. And he was testing the driver, and he goes, watch this. And he walked back to the corner of the range, and he made a swing like I've never seen. Like I'm talking Canadian Open bunker shot swing, but with a driver, flew the net. Didn't even like sniff it. 295, net's 40, 50 foot in the air. And he did it like 7 times in a row. And basically, like every time, I just remember hearing it was like a train hitting a wall. Because
you were there.
I was there.
Oh wow!
It was like because it was the Sasquatch driver. It was one of the coolest things ever. Anyway, so they had the first Sam putt lab that I ever saw was at Hank Haney's place, and there was a guy named Marius Phil Malter. He's from overseas, but he's been a big putter guy forever. He was out on the tour forever. He invented Tommy. He's big with Sam. The heavy putter was at Hank's place. So basically, I somehow started tinkering with putters all the time, and I got the putter yips when I was in high school. Like, I literally could not putt a ball into a hole from an inch. And so then the whole thing with Hank Haney and how to cure the yips came out and all this. So long story short, I started putting with the toe of the putter. I started putting crosshand. I started putting left hand to trick your brain, like how to get out of that. And I became a good putter. It sounds stupid. I bought a Scotty Cameron Newport mil-spec in high school, and I putted with it until I made my first putter in 2012. So I putted with it for 7 and 8 years. I never changed. It became the crutch of my golf game. I literally could hit it everywhere, and I could make everything. Like my senior year in high school, I averaged 26 putts around because I only hit like 7 greens, which is garbage. So then in college, I had the driver yips and all sorts of stuff. So I worked my way into figuring out how to putt, but I also loved putters. So that's obviously the backstory. So got a loan, set up shop in my parents' garage, started posting some putters on Golf WRX, got banned from Golf WRX, even though I posted my work in the section that said micro artisans and garage tinkerers. I don't know the official name. But in the section where you post stuff, where you make stuff in the garage,
Yeah.
And they kicked me out. And then I got a direct message, and it said, you're not a sponsored vendor. You don't pay to advertise here, because they saw the DMs I was getting about making putters. And I wasn't even actually trying to sell them. My inbox, it was crazy influx of wanting to buy putters. And I was just posting them because, like, here's what I made for myself. And then it kind of just started. And for the next 2 or 3 years, I made, 3 or 4 putters a month, and I was charging like $350 for a putter back then, which, if you can imagine, you don't make putters to make money, at least initially. So we started doing divot tools and other stuff and all of that, and I was just kind of learning how to be a machinist and make my own stuff. At one point in time, like, I was making $12,000 a year, probably for the first 6 or 7 years. I mean, I remember a point we got the turning point was we were taking on work for all sorts of people. And I took on this motorcycle project, making Harley parts. And you probably don't know this story. So we had a PO to make bike pegs, transmission covers, billet parts for a company. I don't even care. I'll just call them out. A company called Misfit Industries.
I don't care.
Yeah. So they gave me this POs in my garage. They're like, we want you to make all these parts, and we'll pay you, and it's going to be a $140,000 job. And I was like, okay, this is like a big deal, right? So the 4 or 5 months went by. I busted my ass making all these parts. Like, dude, you want to make a gearbox for Harley? It's in a circle. It's not a fucking circle. It's like one screw is slightly off center, one screw is. They don't want you to be able to make them, but we made all these parts, and we go to deliver them, and then never paid. Never, ever, ever paid. I remember, and this is a crazy story too, but I remember, because mom quit her job. Mom, she was in the mortgage business, had a successful mortgage company for forever, and then we turned their house into a machine shop, right? And so mom quit her job, and she didn't know what the heck she was getting into, but she was in charge of the books and all of that. But, like, I had no direction. I was making all this stuff. Like, we were doing motorcycle parts one day and putters the next day, and I was just like, hey, you need a car, I'll make it for you. Like, it was dumb.
Yeah.
It was just how you learn. Like, you find a project, figure it out, and that's how you learn. So we had a purchase order for a tournament, and it was a $40,000 event where we could make a decent amount of money, one, to recoup from the past 4 or 5 months where we never got paid. And we didn't even have enough money to buy the material. Like, I was like negative $10,000, in the bank. And so the guy who helped us out at the time, I called him. I was like, look, we have this. This is what we're going to do. He helped me get over that hump. And then basically, I mean, like, I had no money, like nothing. And what's funny is I tore a muscle in my rib cage, and I went and played in a tournament in Shreveport, and I made a hole-in-one and won $25,000. I'm not even kidding you. At East Ridge Country Club in Shreveport, Louisiana. The guy who sponsored the hole, it was you win $25,000 or you win a car, a Mercedes, for 2 years or something like that. He sponsored the hole that I won the money on. So obviously it's an insurance policy. You collect it. So I didn't have a savings account. I didn't have any money. I used that money to start a savings account, basically to, like, pay off my own personal debt. And somehow, like, that hole-in-one changed kind of the course of my life. Like, a month later.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's pretty crazy. I made
That
two.
is amazing.
And and what's funny is I'll never forget, it was at East Ridge, and it was downhill. So everyone's made a hole-in-one at this golf course every year. So they made it where the only hole they would sponsor had to be the hardest pin on the hardest golf hole, because the company wouldn't take the policy again. So it was a back right
They're
pin.
just making it rain on this golf course.
Yeah, and
every year.
maybe the best greens within 1,000 miles, East Ridge and Shreveport, with the lowest budget. Incredible. So it's number 4, number 5. It's a par 3 downhill over a big creek. Pin was back right. It was 187, and, like, I had a torn muscle, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to try to chip. I told Hal, my partner, who is best friends with the guy who helped me start our company. I was like, I'm just going to chip it on the green, because he's playing from a different tee, and we needed to make par. Anyway, he was like, no, just go at it. And I literally said before I hit it, well, if you don't aim at the hole, you can't make it. I hit this 5-iron, like the little bitty skankiest. It was pure, but it was like little weak Tyson swing. Barely flies the creek, lands on the green, and I swear it rolled for 5 minutes. Like, it was, and there's like seven ladies behind the green that have to validate whether it goes in, and I'm not even kidding you. It's just rolling, and one of the guys goes, get in, and it went in. And I literally didn't even know what to do. Everyone's running around, and I'm just like staring there. I'm just like, I didn't know what to do. And sure enough, it went in. And so everybody always talks about being nervous in tournaments. I've played a million tournaments, and nothing ever compares to the amount of nervousness you get hitting the tee shot after you make a hole-in-one. I don't know if you made a hole-in-one?
I made 3, but not in a tournament.
So have you made one, Fletch?
Yeah, 2 of them. Yeah.
So if you par the next hole or you birdie the next hole, you did something, because I've never felt the way that I felt, like jitter-wise, until you get to that next shot right after hole-in-one. That's something I'll never forget. So,
I was blacked out.
Yeah,
I did mine on 16, so yeah, 17 and 18 were.
Yeah, I made one on 7 in mirror, but I don't remember my next tee shot.
So I always ask everybody, did you par the next hole? Because, I mean, 9 times out of 10.
They made me a scorecard deal at my house, so I can definitely look. I forgot.
Yeah, I can look too.
Well, you have to. So most people don't realize you can't, and I didn't even register mine, but you can't count it as an actual hole-in-one or register it unless you finish the complete round. So you can register it with a national hole-in-one club or whatever it is.
Right.
But so anyway, fast forward, like a month later, Jim Butler, I don't know if you ever heard of Table Rock. They used to be one of Scotty Cameron's 4 big distributors. You had Dalton Dodd out in Arkansas. You had a couple different guys. Anyway, I don't like to go into it. Them and Scotty split up. He was one of Scotty's largest distributors in existence for tour putters, right? So every year at the PGA show, they would have a booth and they would sell, I don't even know, $400,000, $500,000 worth of putters. They had Circle T this, Circle T that, the stuff that you can't ever get. And if you ever wanted to get a putter that was on the tour level, you would call Jim Butler or Rand or any of these guys. And so Jim called me and he said, he said, I want you to be our putter maker. I said, what happened with you and Scotty? He said, Scotty had I think Fila had bought Titleist, and Scotty then had the gallery, and his OEM versus his tour contract or whatever changed. And so basically something didn't align, and they just parted ways. So Jim was like, we're going to have a booth at the PGA show, but it's not going to be a booth, actually. It's going to be a hotel room, and we're just going to invite our best customers. And I was like, okay.
What do y'all get?
Just wait, it gets better. So we show up.
Sting operations.
I worked, I don't know, 3-4 months to make 8 putters. It was 8 putters in 3 months. It was a lot at the time. Like, yeah, now it's totally different. But it's 8 putters in 2 years for me now. But
I didn't even know if you made putters for a little while.
Only ball markers. So we show up and we're in the top of this hotel room, and I as politely as I could say it, I wouldn't invite anyone to this hotel room nowadays, but at the time I thought it was a big deal. So you got me in jeans and a jacket and a 7-diamond shirt standing in this hotel room, and there's all these putters everywhere. Like, imagine a really cool underground deal, but with putters. Like, that you walk in and there's like all these crazy putters everywhere. PGA show was expensive. So Jim was like, I don't want to waste the money doing that, but we can invite our best customers here. And to be honest, like, the theory behind it is actually really good. I would have done it differently. But then too, in the back of my head, he put prices on these putters that I was just like not used to. And so I just sat back and just kind of let it happen. So I felt super weird. He was inviting all these people in from Japan, and I was just like, why would these people want to buy a putter that's $2,500 or $3,000 or whatever? Well, my Instagram following I was probably like 5,000 or 6,000 followers then. So I posted that we were going to be there. And what's funny is we came up with the F-bomb like a month before. And basically in that time period, we had a company called Black Diamond Design. And then we went to Tyson Lamb, Lamb Crafted. And so this was like the first time I'd ever put my name on something, and I was actually going to sell something with my name on it. And the hardest thing you can ever do when you become a brand or a maker is, why would someone want to buy something with Brody Self's name on it or whatever? And internally, it's a hard battle, because you have to get over the fact that like you're worth something or you're not, and understand that if people want to buy it, like, you have to give yourself credit or just own up to it. And I think you're somewhat self-conscious when it comes down to doing that thing, because you don't know like whether or not it's actually going to stick or people want to do it. And I think all along my philosophy has been, if you make a good product, it doesn't matter if you're on time, it doesn't matter if you have bad communication. If you make good stuff, that always will speak for itself. But the minute you make something bad, everything is in question. So for me, it's always been the number one thing is just make sure that it's good. If it's late, it's late. But if it's good, it's good. No one ever gets mad about waiting for something that was really good. And so that's kind of always been my thing. So anyway, we're
That's so awesome.
We're in this hotel room, and I get on Instagram because I'm like, all these Japanese guys are coming through, all these people, and I don't know anybody, and no one's buying anything. And I sent Santo a message, Raider Nation. Yeah. I said, I'm in this hotel room, come save me. And he came in and he bought an F-bomb head cover. And so he bought the very first thing that I ever basically sold with my name on it. And he was there with some other buddies, and then the guys at Scotty Cameron got wind of it. I'll tell that story here in just a second. But then after that, this guy named Richard Terry came in. I might cry telling the story, but he was like the most amazing human, passed away last year. He bought the very first putter that I ever sold with my name on it. And so I think it was $2,500. So right then and there, I said, I will build you whatever you want, but I want to buy this putter back from you. And so I have that putter at the shop. So basically, he bought the first putter, and then I said, I'll build you whatever. So I built him a putter. The first hammered putter actually was in exchange for the first putter I ever sold, which now, like, me and hammered stuff is cool, but back then it wasn't a thing. And so I built the first hammered putter, gave it to him, got to keep the other one. So there's a shop at the shop, there's a putter that says Lamb & Co., and it's got the latitude and longitude of the shop. And so Doc Terry bought that first putter. Well, so he was from Nashville, huge Scotty Cameron collector. He ended up having like 6 or 7 of my putters, but just like, he was a master's volunteer, like the most nice guy could ever possibly imagine. And he just wanted to buy a cool putter from a guy just because, I mean.
Head over here to the Crown Plaza today to get a putter on floor 14, room 1430.
Actually, it probably was somewhere close to the 14th floor. So, long and short of it, 7 putters I had there, 7 out of the 8 were gone. It ended up being like the sum of $50-something thousand. And so after that day, 2 days, it was kind of like eye-opening. It was like you went from having a PO from $140,000 for $100,000+ that they don't want to pay to someone who actually pays to appreciate your work. But also, you had somebody that was just Jim went out on a limb and was selling stuff at a price point that I would never do. But two, like, it showed that there was value associated with what I was doing. And in essence, if you make a putter and you're only making like 10 or 15 or 20, I mean, small volume, and even at $1,000, dude, you don't make much money, especially if there's a lot of hand element involved to it. And if it's customization, like anytime you build a custom putter for somebody, just the customer interaction with, they treat it as if it's the last thing they're ever going to build. It's like building a house or a car, and until you give them a blank piece of paper, like imagine building a car with a blank piece of paper. You have to create some standard rules. Now the way that we do it, I mean, I've made enough of everything to where I give my 10 cents and kind of, you're paying me to do a job, right? So I want to give my expertise in some regard, but then give 1 or 2 elements that are, too like inspired by the person who wants to build it. But two, like, if you come to me and you say, this is exactly what I want, it's kind of actually no fun because you're telling me how to do my job, but also like you're paying me to do something for you, and then you're trying to control it. So growing that confidence and expertise over time has been hard, but looking back, it goes all the way back to that. So
yeah, because you're one of the most, I mean, honestly, every time you make something for me, it's blown away. And like you ask on like when we go on a trip, you're like, what do you want your ball marker to say? I'm just like, let Tyson pick.
Oh, you got to show him the Lamerican Express here.
The Lamerican Express divotal.
So
I waited
great.
like a year and a half for this, I think.
So that was a mystery.
Yeah, a mystery. And I was like, everyone's like talking in Tyson's group chat, and they're like, oh, Tyson ain't going to get our mysteries out. And I'm like, I don't know, whatever. And then mine came. I was like, whoa, that was worth the wait.
So
it was
Brody,
It's an eye grabber. I walked in his house.
I don't know.
And there's
how do you
thousands
can you
of
get
shit,
this thing?
and I picked it out right there. Just
What do
pick
you
it
got?
out of there. It's such a
this
conversation
one right here?
piece.
Go that one. You got to focus.
It's so cool.
Put your hand behind it. Let's see. Oh, manual focus.
For the people at home, it's a divot tool that looks exactly
We'll
like
have to post a picture of it.
Express card.
So Brody's a credit card processing guy. So I made him a American Express card divot tool, and on the front it looks like an American Express. It's got a little chip, and then on the back it says Swipe King because Brody's the Swipe King, and it's got a credit card reader. Anyway, by getting to know the people that we make stuff for and travel with and all of that's where that comes from, and then being able to do it obviously is huge. But I'll go back and I'll tell the story real fast, and then obviously we're gonna
No, at that point before you go, so you were still after that show, you were still doing machine work. You
Yeah,
would have
yeah,
took
yeah.
any, and
So-
that was just like, hey, I'm gonna get this putter game. This is the way to go.
I'll get to the game changer moment in a second, but Santo, Raider Nation, if any of you guys know back from the
We'll have to have
Instagram-
Santo on the podcast. He was awesome. He was like an original, like I didn't really know.
So
he's
was
like the original Scotty Cameron guy, or basically.
He was one of them. He was definitely. I mean, you got Vogney, Vogus guys call him. He's probably the biggest, most influential Cameron guy. Definitely the most knowledgeable. I mean, Frank Beard is easy top. There's a lot of guys who are big known Scotty Cameron guys. Brad Faxon now. I mean, and like back in the day before social media, like the Cameron collector and the Scotty Cameron phenomenon was a thing. Like guys were friends because of the brand. And E-Man, who ran the Cameron, one of the guys who was moderator on the Cameron collector. I mean, I even talked to him and picked his brain on like that whole concept and the influence behind it, because it's a network, right? Like you got a guy who brings everyone together and they're there for that because they share the same like desires, but also they collect the same thing. Like a lot of people don't get spending $2,000 on a putter at your country club or whatever. So when you're with those people and it's networked and you have access to them all the time, it's contagious too. And it's like, why do you want to hang out with people that you don't like? So Santo, basically, he was like, someday you need to build me a putter. This was prior to that PGA show. And I was like, all right, well, 15 years, you know, as it works, we'll get you one. So he came and he bought a head cover. The guys at Scotty Cameron got wind of it. And then basically they had to talk to him at the PGA show that year. And then he got a letter saying like, you're out. Well,
got a letter said you're out of our club
because he was affiliated with me. And so now where I'm at now, I fully understand why things are the way they are in the putter world, just because of how things work and how brands start up and how they, I don't want to say poach, but how they feed off of certain things, and they can easily target your customers and get them and use certain things. But at the time I didn't really see it, like one, even to this day, I don't see myself as a threat to anybody. Toulon, Scotty Cameron, any of those guys. I feel like there's enough room for everybody, especially too, if you're in that custom realm. How many custom builds can you really do a year? But also too, like how many people think about
you want to deal with too.
Yeah. And
you can't deal with all of them.
How many psychopaths are there just like us that every 2 weeks they need a new club, or they just want it to have their kid's name on it, so they think it's cool, even though they're going to shoot 100. At least I'm going to shoot 100 with something with the kid's name on it. Like that in itself is a thing, right? And so the fact that he got kicked out, well, so that went to the Cameron collector, and then everybody was like buku nuts over it. They were like, why would he get kicked out? Yada yada yada. Well, he couldn't even sell his putters too, because basically he had such sick putters and such unique putters that it was like basically they became not devalued, but because he was not associated anymore, and you can only sell certain things that were built for you or whatever else, he had a hard time selling them all. Well, then I basically, you've seen The Gambler, right? The Gambler putter. Yeah. So the story behind The Gambler is probably one of the most famous putters I ever made. Santo's a huge gambler, professional gambler by trade. And he took a gamble on being friends with me, and basically I built him a putter. He waited, 4 years or whatever for. But it was like a thing. And so that putter was, we call it the Camdens, the subdivision I grew up in, but he'd always been a high toe TP Mill style, or circa style studio 1.5, Scotty guy. And so my issue with that putter has always been, it was way too light. It was way too thin. So we built the Gambler as a thicker, heavier, more beefy putter. And then that's how the Camden, I built the first one for him. Had the card suits on the back. And honestly, that kind of spurred into momentum with making putters, because then a lot of guys came to us and they're like, we've been trying to build a putter with XYZ, you name it, for years. And then we started building custom builds. So then you roll into the PGA show. I want to say it was 15, 16, 17. We were there. So 16. So roll that in. We stayed with Jim for almost 2 years, 2.5 years. So then the next year, since the hotel room thing was awesome, right? Jim got a booth. So we got a booth, and I have a video somewhere, but Lane Park was the first one in line. And
that's funny.
At the PGA show, there was a line, and I'm talking 200 people deep to buy putters. And the PGA show is a trade show for industry people. It's not for consumers. And we sold 100 grand of putters in 30 minutes. And it was actually 13 minutes, but they couldn't ring them up fast enough. And I was just like, wow. And, you know, obviously that money was not necessarily all of mine, but I immediately was like, all right, so now if we start doing this, we'll have some cash flow to actually do something. And money has never, ever been like a determining factor for me. It's just been like a way to get things and have more fun and buy more equipment and all of that. So, but what sucked was, so immediately after that, and I remember, have you met Miles Brown?
Yeah.
So Miles bought, I don't remember who he was FaceTiming with. He bought 2 putters from that show, FaceTiming with somebody. And he went on, because I had gotten, I got destroyed by the next Scotty Cameron article from my Golf Spy, which was turning point in my life. But my online social media presence, because of my Golf Spy and how ridiculous they were, turned into garbage because they misquoted what I had said. And so you had all these guys who were customers trying to save face for me on forums. I mean, Mom was on there, like all the, like, I would get death.
For sure, your mom.
I could not imagine Tyson Lamb like mean text me tweeting you.
It's funny, you know, I've never told these things in this way. Used to, mainly because maybe I cared. Like now I don't feel like I have to earn my stripes anymore. But at one point, like people just were so against anything that we were doing just because we weren't one of the big people. And so it was hard because you would sell something to somebody and they would be so happy, but they couldn't even go on and write anything because they would just get destroyed on forums. It's like when you go on and you say, what driver should I buy? And they're like, well, Google it. It's in the forum. You're an idiot. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just kind of the nature of the way it is now. But I think now that there's so many social media aspects and reviews and all that, you don't get that as much anymore, but still there's all those trolls. And what's funny is like, you get to any of our events or you get with any of the people that surround our company, at least now, like it's self-policing. You have amazing people around you, but at that point, like it was us trying to tell everybody like why what we were doing was cool and good and all that. So what was crazy is Miles at that PGA show, he FaceTimed and bought 2 putters from Jim, but basically he couldn't afford 2 putters, so he could afford 1, but he bought 2, hoping that he could just sell the other one to help pay for the first one. But what was and dude, I don't blame him.
No, definitely. I mean,
I like it. I like it. I respect that.
This is crazy. He went on the forums and he said, if anybody wants to see the quality of this work, I will send you this putter. And he sent that putter around to multiple people until it finally ended up someone kept it. But it was just so cool that like what we were doing was embraced by real people like us. And so after that, I kind of felt like I didn't have to do it. You know, I didn't have to go on and battle everything else anymore because like it would be like you would go make something and it was the most awesome thing ever. And someone would find some reason, it looks like Scotty Cameron, or it looks like, well, at first I was, all my orders were, I wanted to get a putter from so-and-so. Could you make it look like this? And then I would spin it. Like there was a point when hammering material wasn't cool. And then I made it cool. Like, and brass, like I've always been obsessed with brass, and brass made a comeback a couple, like 10 years ago in the putter industry. Originally Ping had, manganese, bronze, and some other colors. Brass used to be cool with the bullseye and all that, and then it went away and it became like stainless and all this tech. But like I wanted to bring kind of the nostalgic aspect back in a lot of things. So I'm going to spark notes the rest of it. That after that year, yes, we were making other stuff, and what we did is I got to a point where I was like, all right, we're going to be done, and we're going to hire somebody. And so we were in the garage then, and then basically we found a space. It was $1,200 a month, and it was 1,600 square feet. And I remember Mom was like, how are we going to afford this? And looking back now, I'd love to have $1,600 a month in rent. But she was like, how are we going to afford it? And I was just like, I don't know, but we'll figure it out. Like everything that I've ever done, it's like jump and find your wings, right? So
I feel like that's how we both lived our lives too. It's we're still kicking.
Well, and two, like sometimes just doing is better than planning. And honestly, my best work is when I have 2 hours to go and I'm on no sleep, which is always, and I got to get it done because I can actually make decisions. And it's it's my best and worst, asset. But that's kind of how I thrive. But so we moved into that space, and then we did like an introductory putter run and did some putter releases. And I'm constantly growing on Instagram. Slowed down over the past year or two because my focus has not been there. But like we went from 0 to hero on Instagram. I posted the I will not 3-putt putter. And I literally, if anybody's ever seen it, on the bottom of the sole, it says I will not 3-putt, like seven rows. And ironically, the third line, the threes are backwards. Everyone's like, oh, it's a reason. No, I just did it on accident. And it turned out it was like all the threes in the third row are backwards. So I did that for a post. I wanted it to like go viral on Instagram. And it went viral on Instagram. And so like I went from 12,000 followers to 25,000 followers just from that one post. And everyone was like, well, somebody on the tour truck must have did this. Everyone thought somebody else stamped it. And basically everyone attributes it to like the Bart Simpson intro when he's at the blackboard writing it all. And there's been guys who've knocked it off since then. I literally just did it to cover up the bottom of it because I thought it would be kind of cool. So then the I will not 3-putt thing became a thing. Well, that putter is in the display case at the shop. It's still not even finished. Like the sight dot, I broke off a drill bit in the top of it. Like the putter's not finished. And someday I'll finish it. I literally just made it to flip it up and take a picture of it. And so after we did that one, we had like an influx of people, like 10,000+ people wanting to buy something. Well, when you can make 4 or 5 putters a month at that point in time, like think about it. All right, let's say at that time you sell a putter for $1,000. You make 4 a month. That's $4,000. Like, how much money are you really going to make that way? And it hadn't been about that, but you got to keep the lights on, right? So I'd had this idea to do a donut as a joke, like the Happy Gilmore cracker. He had a cracker. I was like, and it wasn't even like a coin. It was like, what if you had like a real? It was like a head cover, but it was like a donut that you could mark a ball with, and like you're playing with somebody, and you just go and mark your ball with it right in front of him, and it's just like, what are you doing, asshole? So it turned into this idea, and I made one for fun, and I posted it on Instagram, and it went nuts. And so, when did the Cubs win the World Series? 17?
I couldn't tell you.
We need a fact checked here. Is it 2017 the Cubs won? Or 16?
18, I think.
Is it 18? 16. Okay. So, fun fact. We didn't have a website. We didn't have anything. Like, we were making markers and divot tools and stuff, and we were sending manual PayPal invoices, and it would take like, we would make 50 of something, and it would take us like 5 days to ship it. Manual labels, everything. Did the donut, and we're like, we're going to launch our website, Game 7 of Cubs World Series, and the only product that's going to be there, we're not going to have any putters, it's going to be a donut. We put it up, and in like 10 minutes, 20 grand donuts. Literally, I didn't even know what to do because I didn't even plan on making 50. Yeah. And I think at the time we sold them for like $50. So do the math, 400 or whatever it was. So I literally got up the next morning and spent all that money on tooling, material, all that. And then the donut became a thing. So what I had learned is basically in that $55 to $75 mark, instead of getting 500 customers or 300 customers in a year, we could get 10,000. And so then I started making accessories. And because everybody, like Gucci makes crazy handbags, but they probably sell more keychains than handbags, right? And it wasn't my way.
You can't afford it.
Right. And what's funny is I never really chose for it to be that way, but what I wanted to do is to grow our brand while we were still trying to figure it out, and then use that money to basically make it where we can make putters. Because any of these guys in the golf industry, and you got Bettinardi, and they have an aerospace branch, and like I dream of one day having a shop like Bob and some of those guys, but since, the beginning, they've had other work and other things funding them. And even, Bobby Grace and some of these other guys who are in the golf industry, whether it's having an OEM contract or whatever, like there's revenue streams supplementing what they're doing, and they're backed by somebody big. And so to me, I didn't want to have to ask to go to the doctor or leave work or whatever, like we're small. And I wanted to also maintain that personability with our customers, because too, I want to play golf and hang out with these guys, and I want to be the same person as our customer, right? So there was a point in time when we could potentially do something with an OEM, but we just never went that route, right? So the accessory line of things was foolproof way to create revenue and constantly add customers, but it also limited and created less time to make putters. And so what's crazy is we turned into the scarcity model overnight. And so I would work 4 or 5 days on coming up with an idea, and then it would be gone in 30 seconds. You would sell it. And so then it's like reset, do it all over again. So then maybe it's a week, maybe it's a month, whatever, whenever the next idea is, you do it again. Well, golfers have a 2-week shelf life. Like we want to buy something every 2 weeks, right? So then guys start selling them, start moving them, and a coin that we just made for $50, they're selling for $2,000. Well, going all the way back to your Lamb Jam question, basically when we had the first Lamb Jam, I just invited people that were these guys who were buying our stuff and supporting us. And I don't think Wade was at the first one, but a lot of the same guys that you know. And it was just my way of saying, come check out our shop. And I built our brand and our following off of just showing what we were doing. Like everybody's so secretive in the golf world, but I was like, screw it. Like I'll just show what we're doing. Now I show a lot less because I see what had happened from it. But like, here's my cards, right? And thanks for supporting us. So literally the first day at the original Lamb Jam, everybody's in this. I mean, you got 40 people in this 600 square foot shop space. And I'm in there stamping anything anybody wants. Santa was on my welding table, welding stuff. And then you got mom standing up on a table doing raffle drawings. Guys are out back hitting balls into a field, and machines were running. It was like chaos. It was awesome. Yeah. And that was the original Lamb Jam. And so basically, Lamb Jam has always been shop day one, and then we go play golf. And so the way it became is so many people wanted to come to the second Lamb Jam that we basically had to make it spending based. So it's the top 40 spenders, and then we pick 8 people. Honestly, it hasn't been individually picking 8 in a while just because we had COVID or someone has a baby and they can't come. And I don't want to make it, based on spending only. But dude, it's so hard. It's probably the hardest thing to pick who gets to go. I mean, think about how many trips and stuff you've planned. If there's more spots or less spots than there are people, it's hard to pick who goes. So it became that, and it's always all of our best stuff, our most unique things and all of that are usually saved for Lamb Jam because, too, it's like if I make 3 of these, how do you decide who gets them? Yeah. You put it up on the website and let a sneaker bot get them, and then you have to refund it. So when it's in person and you can have that way to here's what we have, what do you want to buy? That's where it all became a thing. So the first Lamb Jam, I've always had a thing called the oh shit drawer. And basically it's where anything goes that's not ready to go out, or it's an idea, or, I mean, if you open it now, it's literally 2,000 pounds worth of metal of just stuff that I've made, used, or it's not fully an idea yet. So I don't know who it was got the idea of all right, we're going to do a contest, and if you win, someone gets to get something from the oh shit drawer. So then it literally the fun aspect and the non-competitive nature of all of this flipped. Everyone was gotta get it, gotta do this. And I remember we were doing $100 or $20 put your name in a hat, draw, somebody gets it. And mom was in the middle and people were throwing money at her. I'm talking it's the stock market. And I was not okay with it. I didn't want to put stuff in there that wasn't my best work. Yeah. And then when I saw it, I was just okay, maybe this is okay. And then you would get stuff that I thought was
trash.
Scale of 1 to 10, a 2, and they thought it was the best thing ever. And so, to be honest, it was a cool way to awesome. Get rid of stuff, and then now it's turned into one of our most popular things ever. But that was originally for Lamb Jam, and so that was first and second year. I remember the third year we did. So we came up with this game. It's synonymous with Lamb Jam. I have this putter. It's called the Frankenstein putter. It literally looks like a piece of hammered dog shit, but it's really cool. It's got 17 degrees aloft. The neck is 7 S's combined. And you go to 100 yards and you hit a shot. And if you hit the green, you get a mystery. If you hit the green, you get a mystery for half. If you hit it inside of a flag stick, you get it for free. And if not, you get a mystery for $200 or whatever it is. But the mystery is specifically for you. So Brody's was, I made him this cool one-off American Express version for him, and then everybody, because you get to know these people over the years, it's it might be a tribute to someone's favorite team. It's the things that I can't sell that becomes a gift from me that is synonymous with something that they like. And so what is actually probably one of the funnest things that I do job-wise is whenever I do these types of things, people are how do you know all these things about all these people? And I'm well, one, because I spend time talking to them, or we spend time together on trips or whatever. But I think one of the things, even going back to the days when I was talking to Eric at the Camera Collector, all of these guys were there because they cared about putters and all of that. But there was moderators and people like the actual brands don't usually associate themselves with these networks, right? And so to me, I could never sell you a head cover for $5,000. I could never sell you a putter for $10,000. I would feel terrible. But if I didn't see you in person, maybe I would feel different. Maybe I wouldn't even care, right? So like the events and the network aspect behind things, like you're not going to be a sleazeball to somebody that you see all the time, right? But two, like people spend their hard-earned money with you. Like you want to support them back and do something cool and all of that. So it's just one of the little things that we do that kind of makes
definitely. Like I tried to buy a couple now. I got two within a week or within like 3 days. I got two somehow. Because of Lamb Jam this year, and then we went then we went to the tree farm. I got another one, but I was gonna buy one, and a couple people were like, "Oh, you can buy my putter, but if you ever sell it, you can only sell it back to me." And I was like, "I get it, but I don't think I want that stipulation on something that I buy too." But I get it, and there's rules and. But I was like, but now I got my own, so I can do whatever I want.
Well, and what's funny, in college, we got free Ping golf clubs. Yeah. And there's full-time people at Ping, and it's crazy. I'm talking about all these other industry people. Hopefully it doesn't get me in trouble. But there's full-time people at Ping that they go on eBay or they're checking in with pros and college players. And even at Titleist, like technically there was some loophole where you may not actually own it or whatever, and they can recoup the clubs and all of that. So across the board, like you think about the golf industry, all the free stuff, like if you're a good player, you usually don't pay for a lot of stuff. So, but two, like when you get something built for you that's totally one-off, like there's more value to that person it was built for than the other person. That's why half the time, a lot of the big things, they make you stamp initials on it so it kind of stays with you. But two, like you were there for that experience or whatever. And psychology-wise of putting, like I don't know this, there may not be measurable data, but there's something to be said about having a warm, fuzzy feeling about your putter or being a part of the build process in relation to something that you don't like to look at that makes you a better person. Like better putter. Half of good putting now is keeping a putter long enough in your bag to not have to worry about getting something else. Like it's kind of crazy. Once you're committed to something and you know you're not going to change, that eliminates the element of being able to buy something else. And so like if you know that if you know that you can just go to the PGA show or the PGA store or any of these places and see the new latest and greatest and then go get it, how consistent can you actually start to be with something when it's literally changing all the time? So for me, what I learned a long time ago is sending something completely ready to go and all of that is great, but giving them some element of customization is a big key. And in anything, in any product that you do, especially at a higher price point, you want to get them somewhat involved with it because so many people are used to the Amazon phenomenon or just going online and buying, predetermined stuff. I mean, look at Nike ID, look at all the companies now that
I say it all the time. I'm a visual shopper. Sure. I want to go see it and look at it and see, like check it out. I don't know what, even my groceries. I can't order it online. Like
it's so going back to your original question, 36 minutes later, Lamb Jam is our party for our best people and customers, and trying to show the best.
The guy that bought the most expensive putter, I think it's got to be one of the most expensive Tyson Lamb putter that I auctioned off. You want to tell that story?
Brody's a good auctioneer.
The video will pop up here. Not right now. We'll put it in the video for a little.
What are you supposed to do? Link to the card above. So. We went to Briggs Ranch 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was about 2.5 years ago.
We had an event, Cordero, means lamb in Spanish. And I had 5 or 6 putters that we took with us. 2 of them were, one was a 5-year build and one was 3-year build. Basically, the putter had started in the garage and then basically I finished it in the new shop. So I made it like special and fancy. And it was pretty cool actually because it had like a piece or component made from each place that we'd ever been. And we were trying to figure out how to sell it, and Brody was like, "Hell, I'm just going to auction it." And he I don't even know if you want to give a snippet of your auction.
Hey, what do we want to give them, boys? Hey, 1,000. But we got it on video, and we'll play in the video. But go ahead. You tell great stories.
I don't know if I want to tell the price point. It was half of a PXG experience. How about that? Or maybe. I don't know. What's a good mortgage payment? Mortgage payment on a $3 million house? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, about
decent
about
amount
a
of change.
prospect of a small horse.
Tyson, we're renters, Tyson. I still live
You're
at home
renters?
with my mom and dad.
Sorry.
I still live at home with my mom and dad. Brody's a renter.
I mean, I lived at home till 28 or.
Well, it's a
29, so
family
I get
ranch.
it.
I mean, it's a family ranch.
It's a ranch.
I mean,
I got
yeah,
my
it's
own
like
house.
Yellowstone. I mean, I mean, people get it.
But we don't we don't kill
Does
anybody.
Beth live there?
Yeah, Beth does live there now.
So Brody sold this putter for a crazy amount of money. Obviously, it got the guy who's an amazing dude. Got him an invite to Lamb Jam. So he's still got it. And there's only a handful of putters that we've done like that. I don't think that putter became Rust Bucket or the Gambler just because I didn't put it out there on social media. And two, like when you, what's really tough in our world is sometimes when guys get stuff that other people want, other people call and harass them to buy it, almost like they're obligated to be able to purchase it. And some guys don't want to sell stuff. And so it's tough when you're like, you know, it's like when the PlayStation comes out, there's guys that are selling it the week it comes out for way more money. And some guys want to keep it and some guys just want to make money off of it. Well, even with our collectors and even across the board golf-wise, some guys want to buy it and keep it. And then some guys just buy it and don't even show it off. And then there's some guys that literally it fuels them to show it off because they feel special about it. And so you have to understand how the market works, but also how each person works, because too, like sometimes when you make something for you or somebody else, if you don't want anyone to know how much it is or how much money you have or like those types of things, you have to respect that and make sure that like you get that ahead of time. And mom talks to Mom and Addison deal with almost everybody. I don't handle money or a lot of that stuff anymore, but they fully understand and know almost every single person to the extent of like half the time it's, you know, psychologist phone calls with Tyson Lamb, like it's 5 hours a day.
You dedicate
right?
an hour at least. If you answer that phone, you're signing up for it for a minute.
And we just did.
That's great. I mean, that's why you built a great company and following and everything, because you do get that customization and that personable feel, just like you said.
And I wish it was funny because in the past we just bought a new 5-axis machine and kind of we're quietly, like not rebranding, but we're kind of resetting. We're gonna get things on a different level than it's ever been. And you step back and you look at a lot of things and what's actually scalable and what's not. And I have a ton of respect for the big guys doing the things that they're doing on a level. I mean, if you look at like tour truck guys and some of these guys who build in clubs in, you know, the hundreds every single day, or they're, you know, coming out with like the whole new low torque putter phenomenon. Like everybody this week dropped their new idea or design or whatever. And it's a big deal to make a lot of golf clubs. And two, because everybody wants their own spin. Everybody's got 2 degrees flat, you know, 7 wraps, this grip, this shaft. You know, they have an issue with their hip. But you know what I mean? Like there's I'm serious. There's so many elements of it that you have to.
What do you do for your hip, Fletch?
I got a big issue with my hip too.
7 wraps or 6 wraps? Is that
Dude,
you know, you just gotta do some stretching when you get old. You know, get it worked out a little bit.
I saw a TPI thing and I was doing some like hip flexor evaluations the past couple of days because I tore a muscle last year and I'm trying to get my game back, and just my mobility as just a golfer is garbage. Like it's literally terrible.
Oh, mine is really bad. I don't know how I golf sometimes.
And well, but too, like you're supposed to do in tournament, like when I'm playing tournament stuff, I try to do it, but you're supposed to do all these warm-ups and all these different things, and like you don't, because you're coming out of the car and you just want to go hit balls, but two, like you have 3 hours, so you need to play golf versus like be in the gym. And so it kind of goes, all of these things are coming full circle with having a kid and all of that. It's like, do you want to go stretch and be in the gym, or do you want to be on social media talking about your job, or do you want to go get shit done? And so kind of my turning point in life, midlife crisis, whatever you want to call it, the past year or so is like just so tired of wasting time talking about, because full disclosure, like I've always said yes in so many things, and just constantly trying not to let people down. And once you start letting enough people down and letting yourself down, it's tough, because it's just like your list of 800 things never becomes 799, 798. It just becomes 801, 802, 803. And so you just get kind of stuck in the funnel, right? And so like my mindset in the past, I don't know, year has been like, forget everything else, do what you got to do, and then try not to talk about it. Just go get the shit done that you need to do. Don't tell people what you're going to do, because too, like, you can go do it without telling them. And I'm trying not to do this thing, but the problem is you get people excited about things. Then whenever it comes time to buy or whatever, then they're ready to buy. So it's like a double-edged sword with this whole phenomenon. And what's funny is even with Daily Dogfights, like, you have to promote it enough in order for people to like be excited about it. But then too, like, you have to do it and utilize it enough to prove the credibility, right? So it's like now I see though why all these companies, and you think about it, they have people that you pick 5 or 6 bullet points and they're dedicated to those things. Just like the guy producing this podcast or what, like, he is an expert at those things. And so for the longest time, I've tried to be an expert in all the things. It's like now I'm trying to figure out, all right, so as we're resetting, so to speak, like, it's almost like you want to be Nick Saban and go try to find the best guy with 5 stars for social media, for machining or whatever. But then that also comes with money. So it goes back to like fueling the way to get there. Just like with Daily Dogfights, like I don't even know how much time, effort, energy, and money you've put in. People may think a lot or little, but somebody put it in somewhere, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you know, we've been on this journey a minute, and it's definitely, just like you said, it's been a lot of money, time, and effort that people don't see the backstory. And like sometimes I've felt awkward myself. Like I'm like, we need to promote it, and then I'm like, what? We need about a few more months to finish this. This isn't very good. And we're like you're saying, like, I would rather not have it out there than somebody look at it and be like, oh, this sucks.
Well, doesn't it suck? So this is where I'm at in life right now. I would much rather not put anything on Instagram or social media just to show it off, knowing that they can't buy it. Like, here, this is so great, but you can't buy it. You know, like internally, I battle with that so often. So I just rather not do anything and send an email and sell something, or put something up like kind of just off the radar for people to buy, or even just, you know, we do a ton of country club work and high-end profile work, and just maybe do that because I don't have to deal with the repercussions of like, we can't buy it, or you know, all the stuff where people are complaining. I'd much rather just be doing and staying positive. And so I'm sure like you have to decide at some point, like, do you show off this app and is it ready? And then, or maybe you just accept the fact that beta 1 is going to be not as good as beta 5, but people know, right?
Yeah.
It's like, that's probably a hard thing to decide. Like, at what point is it ready?
Yeah. That's been the biggest, I think, key component to a lot of it is when is it ready? And I think that right now it is like,
we want it to be perfect, but it's just, maybe it's as close as we're going to get and we're ready to roll it.
Yeah, I think exactly. I think we're as close as we're going to get and it's ready to roll. And like, there's still a couple key things that we're doing. We just hired, actually today's Friday. I guess Monday. I thought today was Monday.
It's like Monday.
Yeah, Friday.
But anyways, we just brought on 5 more developers to like coincide with the other 5 developing team. Cause like we were trying to find a bigger team or a bigger shop. And then we were like, well, we can bring on these 5 and like they can kind of push each other to where whenever you start a golf round, it shares to your Instagram. You can be like, hey, follow along. You get in the group chat and say, hey, nice $100 carryover win or anything to like add that little bit of
like
social component.
The Grant kind of does on theirs when they're
but better. Like the people that we brought into this, they've created a social like chat aspect into their own app that they have too. That's pretty good. So we're excited to bring them to build this features out for.
I think so. What I've always believed is like, if you buy a bunch of stuff from Home Depot, you should invest in Home Depot, right? Well, like if the app fits what you're doing on a daily basis, or it fits your needs, and there's other guys obviously who play Hammer, or you know, how many times are you out playing around and it's like, you want to play this game, and everyone's like, well, if you'll keep score. You know how often that is? Like, I don't want to keep track of a left-right Hammer or any of those types of games just because I don't care. Like, and they're always like, just tell me how much I owe. But then when you get to 13 or 14 and you're playing Crybaby and basically it's at 150 a hole or whatever else, they're like...
The last 2 days I've been down there at Bears Lakes and Panther, they play Nassau. I don't even understand how they play it, but I know it's like auto 2-downs, but they're like 2, 4, and 1. I'm like, what? Like,
what's the one?
I have no idea. And it's like... And I'm just like, what are y'all even talking about? And I lost every single day. And I'm literally like, my partner acted like we were doing great most of the day. And then at the end, he's like,
oh, fuck. Well, I'm like, what?
When
you guys play auto 2-downs, if if you accept or if you lose a press, doesn't the press, or sorry, let's just say we're 3 down with 4 to play and we do another press. That existing bet carries on, right? You don't just
Yeah, I think so.
surrender
See,
that bet,
I've
right?
never really played that way. I've always played like hole to hole. Like if I'm playing you $10 a hole, we're playing that hole for $10, and then if you press to 20, now we're playing for 20.
Right.
It's not like, all right, we're playing $50 Nassau, but then when you're auto 2 down, it goes to 50 for the next 7 holes. And I've never really played that way, so I don't really know what they mean. Like, and it's where I've got a meeting with them. That's kind of why I went down there to like figure out their game, because they have like that country club. Everybody plays this one game basically, and he's like, we would love to be able to, and they have their own nine round handicap system, and he's like, if they keep up with it on pen and paper every day after everybody's match, they settle. Like, I don't even know if I should be saying this, but it's crazy. And so like I don't even understand what they're doing. Like I'm like
There should be
never
like
gambled like this, but we'd like to universify everybody how they gamble.
That's what I was getting at. Is there should be a universal standard? Because the reason I was asking that, we had our event at Cabot in Florida, and one of the guys in our group was like, "All right, so you're going to press." We were 3 down with 4 to play, and we're going to press. So basically, we could have won the next 4 holes and won that bet. But he viewed it as if you press it, you're surrendering that first bet, and you're just basically you're paying. Well, so there's people that play that way, where basically if you press, it's like doubles the existing, but you basically you're just forfeiting that money. So because otherwise he was like, well, you could have just let it go or whatever else. And I'm like, no, dude, if you press, you could technically still win both bets. But like you have to explain these things to everybody. There's nothing worse than getting and I gamble a little bit, not on the level of some of the games I've been involved in, but there's nothing worse than getting into a game that you don't know what you're doing and everyone else does, and they just run over you.
Yeah,
and
I ran over last
it happens
3 days.
every day.
Bad, but I was luckily it was
and
like
that's why we
$200
don't.
each day.
I mean, that's you said the standard. We want Daily Dogfights to be the standard of how do you play this game. That's how you play it. That's the proper way, and that's what we want.
I think you have to get the whole influencer's a job title, by the way. If in case you guys have, like at career day, there's like Tyson Lamb influencer. I don't consider myself one, but like it's a job title now.
I had no idea.
You have to get influencers to influence your product enough for people to see that it exists, or you have to market, right? Or you have to have enough people that believe in it. So it's like, which do you want to be? I don't want to call it a sellout, but it's like, which rabbit hole do you go down? Because technically, with the influencer model, I mean, Traeger is one of the best business cases ever. Literally, from basically when they went from before their influencer model to the end of it, when they sold for stupid money, they literally would send guys grills who were influential, and they would post their real world thing. But for Daily Dogfights, like
we kind of have
got to do something like that, right?
We have a plan. I don't really know if we want to like disclose it, but I think we have a really good idea of how we are going to not use the influencers, but a way to pay them to where they're working to influence us and the app.
But they're gonna be using it and believing in it. It's not, you're not just gonna be like cutting a check, which is
no. They're gonna have to they're gonna have to play golf for us for a couple times.
To your point, Tyson, I mean, our app works. You build a putter you build a piece of art that is priceless to the person, and the main thing is it might take a long time, but it works. Our app works. It works great. And so it's fast. It serves several purposes on the golf course. And it's, if you use it one time, you will like it. And I know that's what I believe. And that's all we need.
Yeah. Nowadays it's really like every time someone sees it, like Travis Miller, the PGA Memes guy, we've been doing a lot of stuff with him.
Super good dude, by the way.
Yeah, he's awesome. And
super successful, like under the radar too. I couldn't believe all the amazing things he was involved in.
Yeah, he's really, really awesome. And he's going with us this weekend to shoot all our stuff. But he had never downloaded it until we played a Sugar Tree the other day. And I was like kind of surprised, but I was like, actually, I'm really happy because now it's so good. He was like, dang. And the map, it's instant. Like, it is the fastest map to get to I've seen in any golf app, and I think that's massive because it's just like people that go on your golf trip. We're not gambling, but I mean, we're going places we've never played.
Right.
We don't know where to hit it. We don't know that, oh, there's a bunker. You can't even see that bunker. And so, like, I feel like the map is going to be just a key aspect to a lot of what we're trying to do. And then, like, gaining people to, like, hey, watch, like, listen to our stories and listen to, like, watch this video and say, like, hey, you can play this game and know what you're doing.
Right.
And your buddies can know what you're doing and follow along and see the history and the real, like, in live, what happened, where you lost, where you won, and know the, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but, you know.
Well, and you can add, I'm sure you can add games and stuff that guys have never played. And progressively, so going back to kind of our accessory model, like, obviously the more people you get in, the more money you can put into it, the more you can keep growing it. And then too, you're going to get feedback from other people, which will make a big difference. I just from knowing your journey on this one, I don't have an app, but I know it's complicated. I don't think a lot of people realize, like, what goes into just getting stuff to look right on a screen. And so I think it's cool, obviously, that, what is this, Gen 17? Like, what revision are you on?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been about
29 1, I think.
So too, like, don't be afraid to tell, and I know you're not, but, like, people who've seen the original one, and then too, like, they're gonna see this version, and as it grows, like, if they use it, and two, this doesn't have to be rocket science, right? And it's not, like, you just need a way to play your game, figure out who loses, pay your bets. Like, then you don't also have to worry about the guy who just freaking pencil whips you.
Yeah.
Yeah, our competition is a scorecard. So, it's just, you got to write it down there or write it here, one or the other. We got a GPS. We got a mathematician, and the scorecard doesn't. And so it's just a better, easier way to play golf.
How much time
Golf's
we got?
hard
We
enough
good?
as it
We got
is.
more?
Whatever you got a good story.
Six.
Tyson tells great stories, and I've done some crazy things with Tyson, so I know he's probably got something.
I've got some really good stories that I don't know if I should tell on this podcast.
You can tell. We're gonna be. I mean, people are gonna need to know who we are.
Oh man, I don't know if I want to tell this one.
Tell it.
All right, best golf story my entire life.
Let's hear it.
We're playing
Land on this.
the. Oh God, I don't know if I can tell this one.
Is it about me?
No,
okay.
no. I'm junior golf. I don't know if you guys remember. Do you remember when Titleist came out with the Pro V1?
No, I didn't even play golf till about 6 years ago. So I didn't.
It was.
We're Cowboys.
I don't. We'd have to fact check it. It's. I graduated high school 2006, so it had to be before then. But used to, you could buy Pro V1s when you were in high school for $27 a dozen wholesale. So you would just stock up on them. But right when they first came out, you couldn't. So if you either played the Tour Prestige, the Tour Professional, the NXT Tour, or any of these other golf balls.
DT Solo.
I mean, DT Solo was after this. The Callaway Rule 35 was a popular golf ball. So we're playing at Shady Valley in the Buck and Loons North Texas Junior Amateur Championship, and my buddy Brady was caddying for me, and we're in the pavilion, and it's a rain delay, and there's a kid's bag right here, and he's got a box of Pro V1s, and BJ, who was caddying for me, he took every golf ball out of this kid's bag and drew a male reproductive part on every golf ball. Big black Sharpie, every single golf ball. Never. It gets way better. Go out, finish the tournament. 3 weeks later, we play at Texas, Oklahoma, Weeks Park, Wichita Falls. Playing with this kid, and I was a decent junior golfer. 72 or 74 has always been my best score. Or my routine score, but I was playing pretty good. I think I was 1 under, and we're playing with this kid, and he's literally shooting a million. He's like 50 over. He's going to shoot 120, and he's lost a bunch of golf balls. We have 3 holes to go. He hits a ball out of bounds. We couldn't find it, so we're up by the fences, and we have to go back. And he comes up to me and he goes, "This is my last golf ball. It's a Titleist 3, and it's got a big on it." It was the kid who BJ had drawn all the stuff on his golf balls. He proceeded to go to the tee and hit the ball out of bounds and walk off the golf course.
Oh,
To
dude.
this day, I literally just want to know what happened to the other 11 golf balls.
My last one. Got a big bike kick out of it.
I've
Oh,
it was the craziest thing. The other crazy story. This I don't know. We're at Turtle Hill, Munster. You ever played there?
No, I've heard of it.
It's a really cool golf course.
Yeah.
Crabgrass fairways. I mean, it's legit. We're playing. Actually, Dragon was there. It was in college. And we're playing this one hole. It's got a big turtleback fairway, and I smoked a driver, 225 right down the middle. And we get up over the hill, and there's this person coming at me in a golf cart. Gets out, like stops. So they're coming. Golf cart stops here. We have to stop. Gets out, gets in my face, and is trying to cuss me out, but can't. Takes his voice box, puts it on, and proceeds to chew me out and tried to fight me. I literally did not know what to do because nothing like that had ever happened to me.
Munster, Texas.
Yeah, well, and so, I was like, I'm sorry. Well, so it's kind of an inside joke where basically this guy with the voice box tried to basically destroy me, and he was literally trying to fight me because I hit into him. So since that day, basically, I just try not to hit into people on turtleback fairways.
Turtleback fairways.
got an old man with a voice box trying to whip my ass on hole 13. That's great stuff. God, we had this is probably my favorite. I just listened the whole time. I feel like I could listen to you talk for 2 hours, Tyson. This is awesome.
I could keep going, but it might bore people.
Yeah, we'll get to episode 2.
I think, one of the best things that I ever did was I bought YouTube without ads. And so every night, something I spend hours of my day doing is 2 to 3 hours every day learning or doing something, whether it's like YouTube or testing. I was at this trade show today bought some new machines and new materials and all, just like trying to get better. Yeah, something else. And so I know that we need to have a YouTube channel and that we need to have content and presence. And what's funny is, like, I've never liked to be the face of anything. It's hard, like sitting in front of this and all that. You get used to it after a while, but like it takes a lot of time too. And so you take for granted like all these crazy videos and everything else everyone does, but there's a lot of time that goes into that. But
definitely,
like there could be a lot of stuff that we could provide and it would help our brand grow and all that. And I'm sure at some point we'll get there. But the other side of it is, like, I see a lot of things that I did. And when I'm watching videos of big companies and all that, I'm trying to find snippets in there. Like, what can I learn from this video? Like, what type of tools are they using? And in the golf space, I don't want to say that we single-handedly created the accessory market. We definitely didn't. But with social media and how the volume we started making them at the right time, we definitely like brought new ideas to the table and certain things for like the collector that's not just going to buy a putter. They're into head covers and all sorts of other stuff.
Yeah, there's nothing like that on the market.
Yeah, well, but now you have a lot of other guys, and like I've encouraged other guys, and there's a lot of guys that are trying to do stuff like we've done, and I've helped them along the way. And but I also see the element of like the Scotty Cameron mindset, of how secretive certain things are and all that, because like you spend millions of dollars and hours and you try to figure these things out, and there's a reason why you figure them out and other people don't. And so, but in the back of my head, I thought, and I don't know if this is even worth anything, but I thought, what if I just gave everything? What if I just one day decided I'm going to make a YouTube channel and we're just going to give all the information, tell how to do everything, like what I use to finish stuff, what grinders I use, all the stuff. Would it spur like another revolution of makers in golf? Well, but
there's going to be 99% of people that don't do shit.
Well, but too, like, how interested would people be? Because there's all these people on YouTube that inspire guys like me, and you get your inspiration from somewhere. But it's like, how do you give back? But then at the same time, I open my feed and I scroll and I see all these people that have done some type of spin of something that we've done initially. And the sad part is like, once I see that, I don't want to do it again. So it's like, I'll spend a month or a year or whatever trying to do one thing, and the minute someone copies it, it's like, I just want to go do something different, or I don't want to show anything. So it's like a psychological like crossroads when it comes to that stuff, because it's either like you just have to be like open book and hope that you're going fast enough that other people catch up, or don't catch up. But same thing with like what you guys are doing. There's tons of apps that do certain things, and it's like you want to do your own spin off of it. And anyone can buy machines or get apps made or go in their garage and do certain things. I think that's kind of the weird place that we're at, where like I think we're probably, how old are you?
35.
How old are you, Fletch?
46.
So you grew up with no social media and basically no cell phone, right? Like Brody
He
and
likes to
I.
say
Yeah,
you still had to talk to a girl at a bar.
Yeah, he old fashioned way.
I mean,
Write a letter.
and the hard work phenomenon and the time, effort, energy invested is huge. Like it's deeply ingrained in you, right? And the instant gratification and even instant knowledge. Like if I want to learn something now, I can just figure it out. Like with whether it's with YouTube or AI or Chat GPT or Google,
definitely.
whatever. And so I think podcasts and all these other things, like there's so much information, but also part of me is like I also have gotten to the point where I get so much information that I don't do anything, analysis paralysis. And so I'm like, right now for me, at least in life, and we've made 250-ish putters in the last 2.5 months. They haven't, most of them didn't hit the website. They were for events, or we did a release and then we actually used, we did a release and then we used the lottery for the other half of them. So we just sent emails and sold them that way. But that's more than I've made in the past 3 years. And so like in doing that and kind of shutting off some of the other stuff, some of these things kind of suffer in terms of like your social media may not be growing or whatever, but two, you don't have to deal with the stuff that goes along with it. And I'll share this for whoever's watching it for you. So I don't answer my phone a lot, and I don't.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. You're working. You actually, every time I go to your shop, you are working.
So like my bottom line, 535 missed calls, 283 messages, 41,000 emails. It's ridiculous. Like it may make some people like freak out, but I don't remember where I saw it, but someone told me if you don't know that it exists, it can't stress you out. And so like a year and a half ago, basically, like if you have 5 hours to do something, but you're taking in all this other information and all these other stresses, right? Like what's the likelihood of you're actually going to get that done? And so like, I'm a type 1 diabetic, so I deal with blood sugar related stuff and brain fog and all these other things, but I'm super hyper focused on certain things. And I'm like, I got to get it done. But if my biggest problem is I have 17 other projects and none of them are getting done. So it's like, why do you even need to take on more work? Why do you need to why do you need to go on Instagram and create more traffic and all of that and create more work that you can't even fill now? So it's just a weird thing where it's like, I'm trying, and me personally in life, I'm like, do I want to be small and be personable and stay in touch? Or do you want to throw money at it and resources and get people and scale and all of that and lose that element? And with anything, right? It's tough. Like all the small guys in the golf world, I feel like have been selling out recently. Even the influencer guys, they're taking brand deals and all of that because the resource, like think about how long it takes to put the resources in play. Like you're going to have a golf tournament, just like Travis at PGA Memes, like he has a golf tournament. He gets sponsors. He's doing all these different things. He's got videographers there. He's got photographers, like social media guys. Think about how long that takes to get put in place.
Yeah, big time.
And so it's like an easy out would be just go work for them. You may get paid more. You're an asset to them. So like going through this, our generation is a little bit different, I think, in the fact that like we kind of grew up with cell phones, but we kind of didn't. So like we played outside and played team sports and
I feel like we grew up in the most crazy, like literally my age bracket. Like, are you 35 too?
36, yeah.
36. I feel like I remember getting an iPhone at like 15 years old, and like that's whenever like that's when you change as a person. Like you start changing and everything. And like it was wild to like see that from like the first portable DVD player to like when DVDs came out to like everything was like the first. We had the first of like all the new technology at that age.
Sega Dreamcast.
I mean, so did Fletch, but like at the time that you were supposed to like, you're supposed to get probably a cell phone when you're about 14 or 15.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, you know?
Well, and so
I didn't get a cell phone. I didn't have a cell phone until I was a freshman in high school, I think. I was like 17.
My phone.
I could drive. I got a truck before I got a cell phone.
But you guys grew up around the rodeo and ranch lifestyle too. So like the hard work element obviously is deeply instilled. But I think there's a weird, especially in golf, there's a weird phenomenon going on where, and Corey Corey Lundberg is mom's neighbor, and he has Altus. I don't know if you've seen Altus Performance. They teach kids. Cameron McCormick, Jordan and Harry's teacher. So I've been taken from Mark Govier up there and talking to Corey a couple months ago. So Harry Higgs, his brother Alex Higgs now works for Altus. They brought him in. He was Harry's caddy for a long time, and now both amazing players. But Alex now works for Altus, handling like player development, certain teaching aspects, but really he's teaching them how to play. And you see all these kids, and they do things so well. Like their golf swings are so good, their physicality is so good, but they can't break 80 or they can't make putts.
Yeah.
And so what's funny is, and this is leading into like comparing putting to everything. I started playing competitive a couple years ago again and I qualified for the state AM and did some things. I ended up getting in a qualifier for the state AM, got into a playoff with two college kids, and Tate was caddying for me, and we went up to the tee, and I was like, I'm old enough to be your dad. I literally, they were kids who were like 17, 16, and I ended up beating them and getting in. But what's funny is I knew what I can do, and so teaching the way that a golf ball is going to fly based on how it's sitting in the rough.
You knew you could intimidate that 17-year-old kid.
Dude, he hit a 2-iron past my driver. But knowing like moisture on a ball, how it's going to fly, knowing if you're 250 over water, what you can and can't do, like you're the best testament of it. You know what you're going to do every single time, and you don't try to play to somebody else's game, right? That is a hard enough thing in everything in life, in any type of thing that you can do. Like you can get so much skill, but also too, like there has to be enough time to apply it. So with the golf, at least now, there's so many people involved, whether it's influencer or whatever, but all these guys have amazing golf. Like, look at Grant. Grant's golf swing is ridiculously good. And he's, said he was never good enough to make it as a pro, whatever. So he went the influencer route, or the golf, he has his own golf brand, obviously, the good guys. He found his own way, but he knows what he can do. Like, think about the golf industry as a whole. How many guys, and I literally thought, like, you could do a recruiting business entirely based around golf. Here's 30 million people that think they're going to make it. What's your backup plan, Johnny? Oh, I'm going to make it pro. What's your backup plan? I have nothing else. I'm gonna make it pro, right?
Sounds like rodeo.
Right.
He's working in a shop making $24,000 a year and maybe making 50% of his lessons. And he goes to the PGA show, and then he goes to the shop. You know how hard golf pros work during member guests and during events? Golf pros work harder than almost anybody. And golf pros have the respect, and they have the psychological power over people that are the most successful people in the world. Guys who are multimillionaires trust their golf pro more than their doctor. It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, it legitimately is crazy. Yeah. And so where I'm going with that is like, once you know what you can do, you have to just be real with yourself. And that's half of figuring out like everything is like, I know that I can hit a driver 300. I'm not hitting it 310. I know that I can make a double if I try to hit the shot, but I'm just going to punch out and I'm going to make bogey. Like making those decisions is huge. And so like for the kids that are getting into golf now, you put a brain on some of them, or you put the head of someone who's played golf for 20 years and knows how to do certain things. It's like they would be unstoppable. But two, you have to go through and like earn your stripes and figure it's kind of crazy. But YouTube and social media and all these things, they give you the answers.
Yeah.
So it's like for me personally, initially I was showing all of this stuff, and I got to a point where I saw people like benefiting from that, right? So in the back of my head, I'm like, I don't really want to do that. But in essence, like I've learned a lot that way too. So it's like, I want to figure out the way that we can do that as a brand, and it makes sense. But it's he's over here videoing this podcast. That's a full-time job. So for me personally, it doesn't make any sense because I don't have enough time as it is anymore. So it's like, as we're restructuring, I'm kind of reevaluating certain things. It's like you have to find enough people to help you out, but you can't lose touch. Exactly like what you were saying about bringing somebody in.
I'm going through that right now because like my credit card business, it's just been like almost not really just me, but it has been. I mean, I'm a one-man show, and I got agents and support, and you have to do all this stuff. And I just hired a virtual assistant, and it's like tailored to a credit card processing business that this company sets up. And it's like hard for me to like give her the reins and be like, okay, this is like for 2 weeks, she's been like, hey, what do you mean to do? And I'm like, I'm golfing today. I'm not doing any credit card stuff. She's like, okay, can I do anything? I'm like, no, just you're fine. Just we'll get there. We'll figure it out.
When finding somebody, like you guys are friends, working with your best friend or working with a good friend, it's a tough thing to tackle. I don't know how much you guys love each other, but you got to love each other enough, right, to make it happen.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to.
So
well, and working with anyone it's tough. No matter what.
Yeah,
you're a solo. You're a one-man show, so it's a different deal. But
yeah, like the other day, me and Mikey, we were talking, and I said, I'm not saying this out of anger. I'm saying it out of passion for our business, because like that's how I meant it. Like I'm like, we gotta get this done. And
we're adult. We communicate good, so it's like we don't. This new generation gets their panties in a wad, and they get a little sensitive about stuff. But we have the same goal, so we're trying to get there.
I'm hesitant when I say the new kids or whatever. I think the tough part is like drywallers and electricians and all the trades in like 5 or 10 years. I feel like those are going to be some of the most desired jobs, because no one is like striving to do those types of things. Mm-hmm. It's all like coding related or tech related, or this is very stereotypical, but there's a lot of like hands-on type stuff that's not as important anymore. And I think things are definitely changing a lot, but to like just the fact that we're sitting here doing this shows like how networking and the power of social media and all that can bring good people together. And like we didn't even really talk about golf events, but the number one most fundamental like driving factor for me and mom and everyone in our business is like getting people together and having golf events and being with people that you enjoy being with, because anybody who's listening knows that they've played golf with a guy that they don't like being with, or it's like seriously, how much money do you think it costs to find golf friends? So you play 3 or 4 rounds with people you don't like and you never talk to them again. You could have played 3 or 4 rounds with people that you actually want to hang out with. So somehow we've managed on almost all of our trips, and it's a part of our brand culture, I guess you'd say, but like everybody who's there has something in common, right? And so the formats that we play, basically, in maybe you can add it to Daily Dogfights, we got to find a name for it. We play, everyone is grouped based on handicap, so every team has an A, B, C, or D. You put your handicap and we do a draft. Usually the worst players pick, and you go through and you segment it on a player. You take 48 people, and on a spreadsheet, you figure out the first batch, second batch, third batch, fourth batch. That's your A, B, C, D.
Yeah, it's just 2-man low ball basically, but you have 2 teams.
But you count. So everybody tees off, and then the A and the B shamble in, they play their ball. You count the best score, and then the C and the D scramble in, and you count the best score. So every hole, everybody has to contribute, because there's nothing more depressing about the bad players that go play with the good players and they don't do anything. And so I think
that's the best format for any type of like ABCD player. Really, it keeps everybody in.
So
the
that
game.
the D guy, you're counting his score. He's
it's a C and D scramble.
It's a scramble. So
C and D scramble from the shamble. So it's a scramble.
Okay,
shamble.
so C and D, A and B shamble, and then C and D.
Yeah, so everybody tees off, and then the A and the B play their ball in from the best tee ball. The C and the D scramble in. So basically they have to, and you're counting 2 scores, one from the A and the B and one from the C and the D.
Right.
And it makes it where the C and the D have to finish the hole, but also a lot of C and D players can't get off the tee. So it speeds up play. And usually we play 8 sums, so it speeds everything up. My philosophy is, and maybe you guys could put this in the app, but if you're a +1, maybe +2 to a 2, you should play straight up. Always. A 2 handicap can shoot 2 under. A +2 can shoot 75. I mean, Phil Mickelson shot 82 in a tournament not too long ago, right? I don't know what his handicap is. But and you're in this deadly zone. So then you go from 2 to a 5. 2 to a 5 is its own thing. A 5 has a hard time shooting even par, but he can shoot 74. But him shooting under par is going to be like life-changing for him. Then the 5 to 10 window is where you get railed. 5 to 10 should be its own thing, and depending on the format should be how you play it. If it's a shamble, a 5 to 10 handicap should only get 1 or 2 shots off a scratch, because the 5 to 10 with a good tee ball is going to kill it in relation to everything else. Like I have a gin, and I somewhat believe in it, and not knocking the USGA, but you have to make events fun for guys to play, because the serious money and stuff involved in playing good tournaments now. I mean, $3,000 for member guest or whatever, and then the guy who's winning is a 7 handicap who somehow shot 71, and that's every single week.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I hate that's one thing that irks me. But
yeah, so we drug that on. The days of the shamble, scramble, alternate shot, best ball, the old fun days, they can't exist anymore. You can't play those formats because like guys' handicaps are just BS.
Yeah.
The good thing is, and I know Courtney at Mira Vista was doing it. They take your low for the year. So like if you were a 1 in February, but you're a 7 in December, which it's impossible to even get it up that high. He takes your 1, which
low handicap index, 3 months usually.
Because the guy, like when we played at Mira's, remember, guess who was your partner?
Patrick Manning.
He went on a tear, man. He made 8 birdies in 13 holes, and he shot 65, and the next day he shot 78 or something like that. But like when you got it in there, it's in there, but it's not in there every day. People don't realize how good those guys are that do it every day. Like it's just on another level. So sorry, that was a big long rant, but
all good. Well,
this is a great podcast. Yeah. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
I want to get you back on again and finish round 2 and just talk about everything else.
Well, hopefully hopefully we got some new putter shapes in the works by the time the next one rolls around. That's kind of what I'm working on. That golf is going in a weird direction, and the fact that all these crazy shapes are. It's like we're going through the 2-ball phase again. Remember when that whole thing happened?
No, I mean, I really didn't know much about golf industry from about 6 or 7 years ago. So
that's how you got on all these good golf courses.
Yeah,
Panther Trail? I'm just gonna roll out here.
Panther Island Pavilion.
Panther Island, Bear Lakes.
Love it. Does what's our producer's name again?
Taylor.
Taylor, do you play golf? Taylor's over there laughing at all these golf jokes, and he doesn't even play golf.
All right. Well, that wraps up another episode. Fletch, have a good time in San Antonio tonight. I'm going to go have dinner.
Yeah, we'll be seeing you guys at Shangri-La. Tyson.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thanks.